Welcome to the Crazyhouse World Championship Candidates Round Robin Tournament. Getting to this match just a tad bit late. This is the second game of the match. Xuanet took the first one in a tight time scramble. He got a checkmate against mastertan as black. So Xuanet is up 1-0 in this series. And he looks to be cruising in this game as well. He's blocking off the queen's diagonal, so now white can potentially castle to safety. He's got threats of pawn at e7 hanging in the air. Mastertan is electing to counterattack the queen instead of saving his own, although that looks dangerous as well. Looks like he might be holding on, though. After takes, take with check, you can recapture with a knight, and you have a knight capture hanging in the air. Xuanet elects to get two pieces for the queen here. Oh no, that was just a trade. My bad. The king is safe on f1. It can't be dragged out with a pawn or bishop drop on e2 because his bishop defends that square. Now maybe pawn at e6, although he has to be careful with knight drop with this pin introduced into the equation here. So maybe a queen drop here, forcing a knight to block. Otherwise, you pick up the rook. What else? You don't want to go passive here by blocking off the file or something. That doesn't even really look too. He is going to go passive. I suppose the idea is, if takes, you can place a knight here and either pick up the rook or distract this knight and pick up this knight with check. No, he's going to immediately put the queen on. This is well, looks dangerous. I was going to say mating, but it's not mating just yet. Maybe he can just take a timeout to scoop up that knight and then minute some knight drops on these squares. He can just block on this square pretty easily, it looks like. He's going to block on e2 instead, so he's comfortable having his king dragged out. Or maybe if takes, maybe just hides his king on g1. Both are perfectly viable options, I think. Xuanet also up on the clock. So now, how does white break through? He's going to capture first on c8. So if that was recapture, I think maybe just a sack there is possible. Mastertan attacking. Mastertan attacking the queen, so any discovery was not possible because the queen would hang. Now discovery is possible. The king's going to run up, and the queen's just going to gobble up some material. And look at the pocket pieces here. Xuanet's king is quite safe there on f1, and he has just about every piece possible in his hand, whereas black now has nothing. And Mastertan is not one to resign, but it looks like this is a perfectly resignable position. Not so tan the man, who I assume was a pale man, but also a play on Tan the man's name, of course. Jan Lee here on Lee Chess, saying that Xuanet missed maiden 1, which maybe I missed as well. Yeah, and that's going to mate. Knight cuts off that square, and that's checkmate. Okay, so Xuanet goes up 2-0 in this matchup. Mastertan starting with a3, going for maybe an orangutan type 12 team, or the orangutan setup that the 12 team likes so much. And you can see by the record, Mastertan has a bit of an edge, just a ever so slight edge on Xuanet in the overall head-to-head. But in my predictions, I predicted Xuanet to tie. I think I predicted this match to go to a tie, 5-5, which is possible in this round-robin tournament format. Now this is a unique setup I haven't seen before. We've got the Orango Grob with the b4 and the g4 push. I'm patenting that opening name, guys. The Orango Grob. The orangutan, also known as the Polish, of course, is when you push b4. The Grob is when you push g4. I don't think this is solid, honestly. I think Xuanet should be able to punish this, and he's going to do so by just claiming the center, as he's done, and making sure his pieces are active, and trying to exploit the squares that these early pawn pushes have weakened, namely this square and this square. And now he's pressurizing f2. That can be taken. Maybe you can even sack the queen with a pawn drop here. Maybe that's not necessary either. Yeah, just encroach with the queen a little bit further. pick up a piece. Yeah, this is going to be lights out. Mastertan may be tilting a little bit with that opening selection. But now, similarly to last game, look at the pocket pieces. Black just has a whole stockpile of pieces that he's going to be able to easily mate with, I feel. Picking up another, well, it's not going to be a piece, but it's going to be enough to seal the deal here in game 3. It's nice developing his last piece, putting a pin on that can't even be broken by, he doesn't have any pawns in hand, so he concedes that game. Xuanet up 3-0, an early 3-0 in this matchup. Goes to 10 games, so we've got an advanced French. Mastertan reverting to solid openings as opposed to this rather radical g4 b4 business. Alright, so we're getting an early exchange of those center pawns. Queen out to g4, common motif in the French, and Crazyhouse as in chess. Black seems to be solid, a little bit weak on the dark squares, namely the d6 square here. And so xuanet reinforcing his control of the d6 square, putting his queen on the dark squares. So now it's going to be a bit of a maneuvering game, I feel. Black will try eventually, maybe once he's organized his pieces as he wants them, to break with f6. How else does he get his pieces out? Maybe bishop d7, castle queenside, or maybe just leaves his king in the center. You can't move your bishop right now because this pawn hangs, so you'll have to address that. So maybe f6 isn't such a bad idea because the queen does guard the g7 square in that case. Instead, Mastertan's going to elect to expand on the queen side, maybe to get his bishop out in one of these diagonals, although it is still just butting up against his pawns. So I choose white here. I like white. He's got more space and he's got more active pieces. Just a more natural flow of pieces anyway. You often see this h5 push and the closed French from Black to try to get some counterplay on the king side, but it does weaken this g6 square. So pawn at g6 is always a possibility to open up this with check on the king. Just make sure everything's running. Yep. So bishop e7, maybe just making way for the king to run to the queen side if necessary, but it doesn't seem to me like this piece is doing all that much except acting as a pawn, kind of reinforcing the c6 square. But okay, so now a pawn does appear on g6, and yeah, it just looks like xuanet's pressing here. Takes the bishop off. Okay, so maybe that frees up the c5 square for his bishop to come out finally. Yeah, I would assume that's what that is all about. It does that while also removing white's defender of this square, so it relieves a little bit of pressure. He's able to put that bishop back on the board on an active square, g4 here. That was a sack, right? Go back a few moves. No, that was just a trade. My bad. Alright, xuanet picking up the exchange, which of course isn't all that valuable in Crazyhouse, but it does in this position remove the defender of the back rank, which will likely prove to be important. He has checks. A knight check on b8 is always possible. Probably not in this position because it doesn't have a pawn to follow that up with, but it's always possible now that you've removed a prime defender of the back rank. Alright, Mastertan desperately trying to drum up some counterplay here. It looks like he may be able to do so. Is that queen trapped? Looks like it to me. Looks like that's a trapped queen. So does xuanet just want to sack that, pick up the rook and a piece? Although that looks dangerous. You always have to calculate the possibility of a queen sack on f2 after that. So it takes, takes. Maybe there's just an even stronger continuation there for Black. So Mastertan drumming up some timely counterplay here, and up on the clock twice. He's got more than double the time now, almost thrice, thrice the time that xuanet has. So xuanet electing to try to find some counterplay. A rook at c7 is the idea, but maybe king just hides on e8. And what's the follow-up? What is the follow-up? Now black's just threatening mate in 1, so you can't just neglect this knight hanging out on g3. You can't take with the f pawn. So I have to, yeah, you have to take with the h pawn, but now you can play queen takes, you can play pawn here, among other tempting options. I'm going to choose mastertan to win this one. I think there must be something concrete here. So let's calculate this f2 sack and see what he can follow up with. He goes for it before I have a chance to analyze it. Bishop appears on d4. Okay. So now what? Do you take this and try to place a knight somewhere? All the knight checks are guarded. So, well, that's nice. That's distracting this pawn. So now a queen can appear on f3. King steps back to g1. Where's your mate? Pawn at f2. And to pick up the rook with check. And pawn at f2, king here. Huh. Maybe he's considering taking on g3 instead. That's what he goes for. Yeah, this pawn at f2 can always be played. And this must be mating. It must be. Rook at h1. Well, no, probably rook at f2 is more precise, because rook at f1, you block and then what, right? So maybe it's not as cut and dry as I thought. Oh, that can't be taken. That's the point I was missing. That can't be taken because of the pen. So there is mate, of course. mastertan fighting back. Nicely done there. That's 1-3 if I'm not mistaken. Just confirming the chat. xuanet going for what I've heard called the Firefly Gambit. With this d5, e6 stuff, sacking a pawn, but getting open lines and quick development. Alright, confirmed. 3-1 xuanet. Remember, this is a match of 10 games. Regardless of outcome, they will play exactly 10 games. Well, that's a nasty move. It's discovery on the queen while also introducing a threat on c2, so that's taken. Do you want to take here? Or just recapture? Yeah, he's going to take. But then it looks like this knight might hang. Although I'm not sure if that's such a big deal anyway, because you can take and then come in with a check. But he's going to take the rook instead. Okay. This is always a crucial move in these types of positions. Gaining a tempo with check while also defending the c2 square from a pawn drop, so he's able to capture that with the bishop and remove that dangerous aggressor into his position. But yeah, I like black here. He's got all the active play in the world here, and some heavy pieces in his pocket to capitalize. You got to guard against this knight drop on b4. I don't see any active counterattacking solutions for white here, so he's just going to have to defend desperately. Okay, so he's going to take that. Now you can play knight at b4. King back is going to be mated with a pawn at c2. The queen on that square as well, so that's just mated, right? Pawn at c2 or bishop at c2, same thing. So now, yeah, that's going to be mate. 4-1 xuanet. All right, now we're going for e4, e5 stuff. The Italian with the bishop e7 Italian. Sack on f7. It's not really a sack, it's just a temporary, you can call it a temporary sack because you are going to get that piece back. Otherwise, you dominate the center by removing the c5 pawn. You get 2 pieces for the pawn. So this bishop takes f7 line, and the bishop e7 Italian is theoretically viable. It's actually probably one of the best ways of playing next to d4 and early d4. Alright, so now you just take back on d4, or, yep. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first match that xuanet is playing in the candidates here. It's his first match. So he's coming out of the gates at a rapid clip. Good for him. First match that mastertan has played as well, now that I think about it. Alright, so mastertan coalescing all his pieces, clustering them around his king. I bring his rook to the open file. His queen's guarding a lot of territory around his king side. So he's sequestering his king, trying to get some safety. Queen trade occurs. He's got a nice outpost for his knight there on e4, but he's also going to be looking after this g7 square, which I found is something of a motif in this bishop e7 line. Is white is just going to try to attack this g7 pawn and ingress in that manner into black's position, which is exactly what xuanet is doing. That can't be taken because of discoveries, although he might even be able to allow that because you can just block. But no reason to allow that, xuanet says. Just replaces a bishop on that square, although that hangs a bishop. Ah, yeah. Chat speculating that mastertan is a little bit rusty. That could very well be the case. Him having not played, as far as I'm aware, him having not played recently here. Crazyhouse and Lee chess. Maybe he was preparing elsewhere, I don't know. But alright, another game goes to xuanet. That's a 5-1, commanding 5-1 lead. xuanet now just needs one more game to seal his first victory in the candidates. And that would tie him for third place currently. Although he would still be at just a 100% score. He'd be at third place just by virtue, or he'd be behind first and second place just by virtue of not having played any more matches. But this would put him in very good stead. It's a great start for him anyway, if he can win one more game. mastertan facing an uphill battle here. Now xuanet trying his hand at the bishop e7 Italian. Let's see if he can improve on mastertan's play, and it looks like it's already ventured into a different line here than mastertan played. And xuanet's able to make some progress in white squares in white's camp, which normally don't want to happen as white until you can make some of your own progress on the g7 square. So black's managed to flip the script a little bit anyway, in my estimation, already in this opening. Alright, so what else is going on? You've got a pen here, which is a little bit troublesome. He decides to go for a knight trade, and he's going to block off. That's a nice move. Tempo on the queen and blocking off this rook's activity along the g file. And if the queen moves, you can always just pick off that rook. Yeah, mastertan may be playing a little bit rusty here because he's allowing that a lot of stuff that he wouldn't normally allow. That's an interesting tactic there. Takes, and xuanet wants no part of the discovery. He's not going to take the queen. He's just going to castle into safety and not give white the chance to drum up some nasty tactics with that discovery. Okay, I assume if he had taken the queen then that was going to be mating. After just takes here with check, and then this rook is opened up. Maybe it's not mating, but it's no reason to allow it anyway when you still have this threat with on the queen with the knight drop hanging in the air. And also attacking this knight, supposing the queen moves away from the defense of that knight, which looks like it has to, so I really see no good solution here for mastertan. He's going to sack the queen for a piece. You can take here, you can take the knight, and he's just going to stay super solid. Take the knight, say thank you very much, and continue this attack on the queen with this knight threat hanging in the air. Knight drop here surely is good. Knight drop here is also possible. He's going to go for the simple solution. Probably queen takes. There's no reason to allow like any kind of counterplay with a rook sack or knight drop or anything of that nature. So is a queen sack on f2 possible? It doesn't look like it right now. It's going to take the bishop. I like that. Removing the defense of this f3 square. Now you can drop a knight and drop a queen in the back rank. Or no, that's an even better solution. King can no longer run up. That can be taken because a queen drop on the back rank, and that's mating. That's a mating move. Nice finish there from xuanet. That's 6-1 in xuanet's favor. Alright, so now we're going for more asymmetrical stuff. xuanet has already sealed his match victory, but mastertan wants to get as many game points as he can in the event that there are tiebreaks toward the end of the tournament. So black looks to be a little bit behind in development and also a little bit cramped in space. Yeah, white's going to get a lot of tempo on this queen. If this queen's only square is, you can go to either one of these dark squares, but in either case, this knight can move with a discovery. Instead, he's going to counterattack. Okay, that's a good solution. I didn't see that. He's going to be able to scoop up 2 pawns for the piece there and keep his queen active, give it lots of room. And that's what you want to accomplish when you do this e4, d5 stuff, is you like to give your queen a lot of space to maneuver and swing over to the king side or the center as necessary. And if white's able to block you off, if he makes your queen inactive, then that's trouble. So Mastertan has done well to make sure his queen remains active, which is really his only asset in this position, it seems. White's going to castle queenside, not bothering about this g2 pawn, just centralize all his pieces. Look at this. This is a nicely harmonious position. He may have gone down a pawn or two. Just 1 pawn actually, but I like white's position here. He's just got everything he wants. He's got his rooks gunning down the d and the e files at black's king, and black's pieces are so terribly undeveloped. Yeah, and now he's going to drag the king out with a sack on f7. That's often a very, very tender point in these structures, or in these e4, d5 type systems when you take with the queen. So that's discovered. Check with the rook on d1. I'm going to block that with a pawn at e6 or d6, and you're going to be able to pick up the queen. Yeah, very nice. It seems to me that xuanet is just kind of comprehensively outplaying Mastertan at this point in time. xuanet now trying to undermine black's defense of the e8 square, so he can place a queen on that square and mate. Right now, maybe just takes, bishop takes to defend that square, and then you can drop bishop here, still trying to undermine the square. Maybe even a bishop here is a little bit better. He elects for a different option. If that's taken, then it opens up the rook along the d file. I don't think black wants to allow that. But I was going to say takes, maybe bishop here, both pressurizing d7 and the knight. But xuanet finds his own way in. 7-1 to xuanet. I was saying that Mastertan would want to fight back and get as many game points as possible for the contingency of tie breaks in the future, but contrary-wise, xuanet is doing the same. He's trying to shore up his own tie breaks by winning as many of these points as he can. Why not? So now we've got fairly symmetrical structure. Let me rewind. I know people don't like this too much. I just want to see what happened. That was played very quickly, and we've got something that I affectionately like to call, maybe a little bit presumptuously like to call the Crosky gambit, with this gambiting the knight just to get this nice pawn and some open lines and quick development and such. I actually like taking with the g pawn. I think it leads to a very dynamic, fun play. Maybe it's not entirely sound, but it's fun to play. But anyway, let's see if xuanet can get away with it here. It's a common theme, trying to distract this pawn away from the defense of the c3 square. Yeah, you kind of have to block off that diagonal. Now you can gobble this pawn up, and I don't know that you even want to defend that pawn. If it's not, maybe you just want to accelerate your attack on the king side and try to exploit these light squares. Bishop here is possible, pawn here is possible, knight. Introducing a knight on one of these outposts is possible, but xuanet goes for bishop h3. Makes sense. Yeah, if you don't take that, he's just going to take on e3, so that's taken, and now you have a knight drop. Picking up the queen. This rook is open, but it's not such a big deal. I don't see any mates or anything. But xuanet doesn't want to get involved in that because of a knight. Yeah, maybe it was dangerous. Maybe it was more dangerous than I was giving it credit for. The knight drop on f5 and this bishop peering into position. So instead, he just sidesteps. And the difference is if rook takes and drags your king out, you have this square defended from knight drops. So it's a little bit safer on h7 than it would be on g7, supposing you had taken the rook in one of those squares. That doesn't happen. Mastertan backs the rook off. The threat, of course, is mate with pawn at g7 and a knight at h6. So xuanet, yeah, it looks like he's in command here. He drops a queen in the back rank. If that's taken, you just renew the queen, rook to the good. If that's taken, queen will recapture, and then mate will probably soon follow. Even if not, you can always just play ultra conservatively and play pawn at g7, giving yourself another tempo if necessary. But yeah, I see no solution for black here. So is this mate? Is this mate? So suppose he blocks the bishop. Maybe bishop here. Well, he goes with a pawn drop here. I was going to say bishop, so you're going to pick up the rook off anyway, and that is going to mate. Rook at g1 to seal the deal. 8-1, I think now. Wow. xuanet proving he's a dangerous contender in this candidates tournament, with a major statement in the first match he's played here in this round robin tournament. So now we're going for a symmetrical Italian, bishop c4, bishop c5. This is probably one of the most theoretical lines in Crazyhouse. Although xuanet shaking up a little bit with this early knight d5. More often you see bishop g5. But this, of course, is equally as good. I think both xuanet and mastertan are practitioners of this knight d5 as opposed to bishop g5. At least an interesting play. So mastertan willing to give up a piece just to control this d4 square and plonk a knight on that square where it controls some very valuable territory. Yeah, xuanet doesn't even want to take that. A bishop at g4 is possible. Roughly equal position, I'd say. White will want to establish probably a knight at f5 and attack the dark squares, namely g7. And so knight at f5, maybe sack there, maybe try to get a pawn in hand to place on h6, or even a bishop drop on h6, which isn't always advisable to drop a piece just to pry open the square, but he does have another defender on the h6 square, so it's possible. So anyway, bishop at g4 does occur. Black would love to have a knight in hand so he can fork the queen and the king, but that's not possible, so he's just going to try to open the position with d5. Try to get some activity, some central presence. That just dropped a piece, right? Yeah, I think white should be perfectly comfortable here. He's quite a bit of material to the good, and black doesn't really have enough counterplay. His queen just going to get hit a bunch with tempo. Yeah, knight at here is not possible because he has two defenders of that square, but that's a nice shot. If that's taken, knight at f6, picking the queen back up. Probably just king will sidestep, and now you recapture that. And now white has all the attacking chances. You'll notice that white has a bunch of attackers on these very tender squares, h6 and f6, whereas black does not have any attackers of h3 and f3. That was just another piece. Yeah, a full another piece that black dropped there. Although maybe there wasn't even anything better there to defend against white's threats. Knight at f4 attacks the queen, guards mate on g2, and now you're just going to place. Yeah, I was going to say place a pawn or bishop at h3 and just try to get all your pieces back on the board with tempo. You can just take that queen. Maybe you don't even want to. Maybe you just capture here and not give him that rook. But yeah, I think this is fine. You go up a queen for a rook, and you can check along the back rank, but you can just block that. You can even step up. Black really has nothing here to speak of. So bishop at e5, mastertan hanging on with his fingernails, just trying to pose as many practical problems to xuanet as he can. This bishop is an important defender. Just going to take that, but he can't place a pawn at g7 because this bishop does defend that. That was the point of that move. So now what? I'm not sure if it was really best to sack the queen for the rook there on h6. Probably unnecessary. Probably could have just moved the queen. But he goes for it anyway. That's a pretty solid move. Just making sure he's covered along the back rank. Queen here isn't possible. Bishop defends that. Queen here is no longer possible because the rook defends the first rank, and also ministers some checkmating ideas along the g file. Knight at g6 is possible, forcing the queen into a potential discovery. There, takes, and if he comes to the g file, you have a discovery with this knight, this rook. But it can't step here, in which case he's mated, I think, after, yeah, if you step here, you mate it after a knight check, rook takes, queen, no, just pawn here is enough, I think, or bishop or whatever. Just queen there, pawn here, yeah, that can't be taken, now pawn here mates. Well played from xuanet, very convincing, overwhelming, I'd say, victory against mastertan here. 9-1 to xuanet. So well played. Making a statement here in his first candidates match, as I said before. So okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. Hopefully I'll catch you later for more candidates round robin action. Bye guys.